Hey, it's Bill. How about another really kind of crazy dish to make that I've been like struggling with in this little brain of mine. So, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to eat beef, I want beef tenderloin, you know. And if I'm going to eat beef tenderloin, I'm going to eat prime beef tenderloin. So it's a special occasion because, you know, it's gotten like crazy expensive. So I was at the grocery store the other day, and they're like, they had it like really on sale. Not only that, but they're like, oh, aren't you a club member? I'm like, yeah, okay. So it ended up being 19 bucks a pound for prime tenderloin if you bought the whole thing. Well, they offer to, you know, cut it up for you, but the problem is they do a really lousy job, and they end up with ground tenderloin. I don't know what you do with that, but anyway. So I've done a lot of meat cutting in my life, so I bought the whole thing, brought it home, sat down, figured out, well, you know, obviously I'm going to grill a nice big chunk, like a pound of prime tenderloin filet for 2 people. Great dinner. Had it last night with some baked potatoes and some cream spinach. Really top notch. So I've always struggled with, well, what do you do when you I don't make ground beef out of the rest of it, so the little kind of smallish pieces that you have left over, I wanted to make something with. So I said, well, how about if I grill it and put it in the fridge, and today I'll make some really good beef tenderloin sandwich, okay? And this is just strictly with leftovers. I didn't want to throw away all this good meat. So I like, let me attempt this, and I know it's going to be really good. And the one thing is, I always wanted to have it like, you know, heated. But I was talking to a friend of mine, and we're like, you know, the thing about tenderloin is, and let me tell you, you know, especially because I cut it myself, and I know a little bit about beef. I've never gotten sick. I'm not recommending this, but eating room temperature meat like prime rib or tenderloin. Disclaimer at the bottom is that doesn't mean you won't, so maybe you don't want to practice that, but that's fine. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do, I took some red onions and some pickled jalapenos, and I put a little jalapeno juice in here. Makes this really nice kind of flavorful stuff for you. Okay. Second thing I did was I took, like, these are literally scraps of the tenderloin that I cooked on the grill. Gonna be really good. But I wanted to make like a horseradish sauce, and I was like, oh gosh, how do you do that? I'm not really sure. So let me experiment. And after some experimenting, I figured this out a while ago. And the key to it is, I've got like half a cup of sour cream because I want that to be the most of it. But what I've learned is that if you put a little bit of mayo in, so I've got half a cup of sour cream and a quarter cup of mayo in here, you really have a better binding sauce. Then what we want to do is you want to get some horseradish. Now about 2 tablespoons. Now I like to do this with a fork or a knife if you have the tall, skinnier bottles, so I can press the horseradish against the side of the jar and get most of the liquid out. I want about 2 tablespoons. Just be patient. And a little bit more. Knew I had just enough left for this. And I really don't want to push my luck and get a whole bunch of extra stuff in here, because it's really going to kind of get it too runny. Okay, so now what do I do next? Well, I want a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. So that's going to bring kind of the salt out of it, right? And I'm just going to really be gentle with this. That might not even been a teaspoon. But the one thing I did learn is a little bit of decent red wine vinegar really adds flavor. So once again, I'm going to be very gentle. I do not like this cap on this because it pours out like really too much. And maybe a half a teaspoon. That's all I'm going to do for now. I can't take it back. I can always get more, right? Alright. So I had some chives left over from baked potato last night. I just think this really, it adds some good color and good flavor. So I'm just going to chuck a little in there. If you don't have the chives, that's probably not going to be the end of the world, right? Alright, let's get down to business. So now I need a couple shakes of smoked paprika. Why? Because we grilled the tenderloin. I just want to bring out some of that flavor. The other thing I have to do, gotta put some fresh ground black pepper. Okay, that's enough. No, really, that's enough. Gotta run all the chive. Now we're just gonna kind of mix this up. Now, typically I would do this ahead of time and put it in the fridge, but for the sake of showing you how to make this, I'm going to do it live because I want you to get the idea for this. So just, you know, I keep my eyes open. If I see something on sale that I really can't pass up, I'll buy it. You know, it's like I've mentioned about like crab meat, which seems to be insanely expensive. Well out of my reach, right? Okay, so we have a pretty good consistency here, so I'm not going to complain. So what are we going to do next? How about let's put a sandwich together. So, no haters allowed, okay? Honestly, if you want to capture all that stuff, I don't want some fancy bread because I want the flavor. So this is, you know, my milquetoast white bread. It's a hamburger bun. It's actually really good. So what am I going to do? I'm going to start with, just get a smear on the bottom piece. This is Havarti. So I bought Havarti for something else and I just really enjoyed it. And I thought, well, let's just keep building on this idea. Some really good stuff. Alright, now I'm going to take another smear on top here. Oh yeah. I don't have enough room somehow. So, I'm just going to set this aside for 1 second because I'm going to show you something really cool. This is a beefsteak tomato. I love beefsteak tomatoes, okay? And I just want to get a really thin slice. So I find that using a fillet knife, this is actually the same knife I use to cut my tenderloin up, just really makes for a beautiful sandwich. I'm just going to cut a little thin slice here. Put that right on top of that cheese. Move this aside. Rinse my knife. Because I want to get some other acids going here. Just like that. So now let's take a look at what these jalapenos look like. And I did this first thing this morning so they have a chance. So you can control the heat. I like the onion. And if that's all you want to put on there is the onion, so be it, if you're afraid of jalapenos. But I will tell you that because they've kind of been marinating, we're probably going to be okay. Alright, so far so good? I think so. So now I just want to get some of this meat, which I cut into chunks. You always cut across the grain. I know I don't tell you that because you know that. I'm just going to arrange this. These literally were just scraps that I grilled, okay? So they're not going to be fancy looking, but they're going to taste oh so great. And running out of bun here somehow. So we're just going to smash it all together, right? Oh, wait a minute. Stay. Now, yes, I could have, especially for the video, I could have showed you how I took a piece of tenderloin and sliced it real thin for you. But I was like, no, what I want to show you is what I do with leftovers. Okay, this is leftover. This is pure leftover. And as you can see, I think this is really stunning. I think it's going to have a lot of flavor. And I think we're all going to be really, really happy. That is a sandwich meant for a king, right? Or you guys, because you're so good, so important, such big shots, and you watch me all the time, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to have a late breakfast, and I want you guys to think of stuff that you can do around the house and you can tell me about, and let's share some ideas. In the meantime, I'm going to eat this, and I will see you next time with another great video. Have a great day.